It is time, so we would now like to start Hitachi Limited outline of consolidated financial results for the third quarter of fiscal 2019. First of all, the participants today, Senior Vice President and Executive Officer CFO Mitsuaki Nishiyama, General Manager, Financial Strategy Division Tomomi Kato, Executive General Manager, Corporate Brand and Communications Division Yasuo Hirano. So the overview of the financial results will be explained by Mr. Nishiyama.
Yes. If you could flip through the slide deck, page 5, slide 1-2, consolidated statement of profit and loss. For the third quarter, on a cumulative basis, revenues 3,344.1 billion. Year on year, it was a 6% decline. Line 2, adjusted operating income, 445.6 billion, reduction of 88.9. Year on year, 11% decline. EBIT, 54.9 billion. Included in this is South African project losses from that are posted in the third quarter. As a result, net income attributable to Hitachi stockholders, 55.1 billion. These were the results. Moving on to page 6, slide 1-3, financial results by 5 sectors and listed subsidiaries are given. If you could take a look at the operating income for 5 sectors in total, other segments and elimination is included. Adjusted operating income 299.3 billion, a decline of 4%. But the ratio 7.5%. EBIT negative 23.2 billion. Included in this, South African project is included. And third quarter net income attributable to shareholders, 40.6 billion. Because of reviewing taxes, it was an increase of 33.8 billion year on year. Listed subsidiaries, adjusted operating income, 146.2 billion, a decline of 76 billion or 2.3%. As a result, net income attributable to Hitachi stockholders, 14.4 billion, year on year, a decline of 61.2 billion. Next page, slide 1-4, factors affecting changes in revenues and adjusting operating income. In terms of revenues, there was impact from portfolio review. Automotive system, there was divestiture. Kokusai Denki's divestiture, amounting to impact of 168 billion, a decline. Foreign exchange, negative 128 billion. Excluding those factors, others amounted to a negative 142.8 billion. These were declines. Lumada business grew, but other than Lumada, there was a major decline in revenues. Hitachi Chemical, Hitachi Construction Machinery, and so forth. The listed subsidiaries' revenues saw a major decline. Adjusted operating income, there was impact from reorganization of negative 5 billion. Foreign exchange, negative 21 billion. Others had a negative impact of 42.9 billion. So a major impact from revenue decline. Growth investment of 20 billion was also reflected, and the total coming to 445.6 billion. On the next page, I would like to give you the revenue by market. Japan, year-on-year 98%, outside Japan 90%. In particular, China was 90% of the previous year. Asia, excluding China was 87%. These were quite a bit of decline. And because of foreign exchange and reorganization, there was impact. But excluding that, Japan 100%, overseas 95%. In China, in particular, the declines came from Hitachi Construction Machinery, Hitachi Building Systems, Automotive Systems, Hitachi Metal. These were the entities which saw a substantial decline. ASEAN and India and other areas, Hitachi High Technologies, Hitachi Metal, Hitachi Chemistry. In these subsidiaries, as well as Hitachi Construction Machinery, there were reductions. And so China and Asia did see a major decline. 1-6, this is the summary of balance sheet and cash flow. Total assets, 10,281.3 billion, an increase of 654 billion. At the beginning of the term, there was a change in the accounting principle for leasing. That's 220 billion. JR Automation, chassis brake system divestiture. There were increases in assets, 360 billion. And CCC cash conversion cycle, 75.3 days. Compared to March 2019, there was an increase of 6 days. And total Hitachi stockholders' equity ratio, 31.4%, D ratio, 0.36 times. And the summary of cash flows is given below. Cash flow from operating activities, 307.8 billion. This is an increase of 105.4 billion year-on-year. Cash flows from investing activities, JR Automation, Chassis Brake International, were reflected in the negative 492 billion. As a result, free cash flow came to an outflow or a negative 184.1 billion. 1-7, in the next slide, I would like to give you revenue adjusted operating income by business segment. There was reduction in storage business overseas in IT, but compensating for that, system integration did very well. So increase of 1% year-on-year. As a result, operating income increased year-on-year by 9 billion. Digital solution businesses to be expanded. We are increasing strategic investment for that, and that was absorbed and saw a greater growth. And energy, decreasing projects related to new regulations in nuclear energy BU. There was a reduction of 10% because of these factors. So decline in 11 billion by operating income. EBIT, a negative 379.2 billion, a major loss. That's because of losses related to the settlement in the South African project. 379.5 billion is reflected in this. 1-8 for industry. Air conditioning system for industry was very successful, growing. And so operating income grew by 2.1 billion year-on-year. In terms of mobility, building systems and railway were heavily affected by foreign exchange. In railway BU, a UK IP project saw a major revenue in 2018, and it peaked out. Therefore, there was a decline. As a result, adjusted operating income reduction of 3.8 billion. Moving on to 1-9, life sector, Smart Life. Clarion in automotive system was sold. As a result, revenue was 89% of the previous year. Conversely, adjusted operating income because of electric appliance business, automotive system business, healthcare business, these saw benefits of cost reduction and increased profitability. Therefore, an increase of 16.5 billion year-on-year. Next, Hitachi High Technologies, revenue 96% of the previous year. Semiconductor manufacturing system in the United States saw an increase. liquid crystal display exposure systems saw a decrease demand for industrial materials as well. As a result of these negative factors, 96% year-on-year. And adjusted operating income, a reduction of 3.2 billion year-on-year.
Next, 1-10, Hitachi Construction Machinery, due to foreign exchange and in China and India, sales decreased. And those factors were large, so the revenue declined. And with that, adjusted operating income was down by 26.3 billion yen. Hitachi Metals. Continuing on from second quarter, the automobile, semiconductor, and FA demand decreased, and the impact of business transfer of aluminum wheel business was large, so the revenue was 87% year-on-year. And adjusted operating income was down by 30.9 billion because of lower revenue. And EBIT is a big loss, 52.8 billion. Because of posting of impairment loss on fixed assets and goodwill in magnetic materials business, which was posted on the second quarter. Hitachi Chemical. Decrease in demand for semiconductor and automobile led to 92% year-on-year, and there was foreign exchange impact as well. So the adjusted operating income was down by 10.9 billion yen. Next, page 1-11, please. So others, the 9.7 billion down in operating income, impact of deconsolidation of Hitachi Kokusai Electric. Next, please move to 1-12 topics. First, the progress of Lumada business. Third quarter cumulative revenue of Lumada business is 839 billion. This is 111% year-over-year. IT, industries, mobility, in these sectors, Lumada business is spreading, expanding steadily, and the lower half shows the topics. Hitachi Vantara Corporation integrated with Hitachi Consulting Corporation in January 2020. So new Hitachi Vantara will lead the global expansion of Lumada business. Omika Works was identified by the World Economic Forum as Lighthouse, an advanced factory, for the first time as a Japanese company. With Lumada Solutions, we recognize the total optimization and sophistication in the entire value chain. And we started the proof of concept to optimize portfolio of insurance using CMOS annealing, a new type of computer, through a co-creation with Sompo Japan, Nippon Kowa Insurance, and Sompo Risk Management. Next page, please. 1-13. Business strengthening and financial strategy toward growth. First, we decided to commence a tender offer for shares of Hitachi High Technologies Corporation. And we issued a release on this. From 6 p.m. tonight, we will have a briefing. And we completed the acquisition of the robotic system integration business, mainly operating by JR Automation Technologies in the U.S. in December 2019. We are accelerating global development of digital solutions business that connects business management and workplace. And we decided to issue the unsecured straight bonds at up to 200 billion yen. And this is to be issued after February 2020 to raise funds for M&A investments in fiscal year 2020. And as structuring the reform, as you know, we decided to tender all shares of Hitachi Chemical Company in response to a tender offer to be carried out by Showa Denko. And we decided to transfer the diagnostic imaging related business to Fujifilm Corporation. And the settlement on projects in the Republic of South Africa realized in December. So the related loss was posted in the third quarter. This is 379 billion yen. Next, please turn to page 2-1, Outlook for fiscal 2019. Hitachi Construction Machinery, third quarter in China and Asia. The revenue declined in China and Asia, and this impact was large. So incorporating that, the operating income forecast is revised. So the forecast will be 669 billion. So the forecast we announced on December 2018, it is down by 16 billion from December 18. EBIT, 485 billion. But the net income attributable to Hitachi Limited stockholders, 170 billion, remains unchanged. So net income is maintained. Now, ROIC at the bottom line, last year was 8.5%, and it's now forecasted at 6.1%. South Africa, settlement-related loss, and Hitachi Chemical divestiture. Excluding these one-off factors, ROIC is 8.8%. Next is slide 2-2, outlook for fiscal 2019 by 5 sectors and listed subsidiaries. Adjusted operating income. 5-sector total, 472.5 billion. This is 8.6%. The absolute amount and the income ratio are both record high. So we will realize this. And this is plus 4.4 billion year over year. Net income attributable to Hitachi Limited shareholders is 146 billion because of the interest rate burden, 5 billion. 5 billion up because of the interest rate burden. Now, listed subsidiaries total, adjusted operating income, 196.15 billion. This is down by 16 billion from the previous forecast. And net income is down by 5 billion as well. Next, 2-3, this is by segment. As I mentioned earlier, total is down 16 billion in operating income. IT and in Smart Life, 6 billion down from last forecast. But automotive systems, China and North America revenue decline is reflected here. On the other hand, IT, especially IT investment in Japan, is trending strongly. So IT service is progressing. So incorporating this improvement is up by 11 billion. Next, this is the listed subsidiaries. Hitachi Construction Machinery in revenues and adjusted operating income and EBIT. This is the revenue decline in China and India. So this is incorporated. And Hitachi Chemical, EBIT is down by 4 billion because of the non-operating income. And in corporate items and eliminations, adjusted operating income is down by 5 billion. This is because of the business size related taxation related to the divestiture of Hitachi Chemical. So total 16 billion adjustment revision in the operating income. So that concludes my briefing. Thank you.
Let us move on to questions and answers. We will bring a microphone to anyone who wishes to ask questions. Please state your name and affiliation before asking questions. Question. There are 3 questions I would like to ask. Number 1, regarding Hitachi High Technologies. I'm sure there will be a press conference later. Synergy. What is your assessment of synergies to be derived for the Lumada business? The equity price is up. You're going to incorporate that, and you're going to divest some irrelevant business, but then you're going to keep the medical business. So in terms of synergies with Lumada, what are the synergies you're looking for For details, we're going to have a meeting at 6 or after 6, and so we will be taking over Hitachi High Technologies business overall, and measurement and analysis platform is going to be at the core. This has very high affinity with the Lumada business, very easy to reap synergies, we believe. So solution business, measurement, analysis platform, that's what we would like to establish so that we can reinforce the Lumada business. That's our intention. Regarding semiconductor business, are you suggesting that you were not able to seek synergies? We will answer. We will incorporate semiconductor business for the time being. Question, will you be keeping it? Answer, yes, we will be maintaining the semiconductor business. Well, question. Nishiyama-san is chairman and CEO. And for Hitachi Construction Machinery, it may be difficult to have synergies with Lumada. But with Hitachi Chemical, considering employees, you looked for a buyer. Is that going to happen? Or will you look for other investors in search for a better price? So what are your thinking? What is your thinking? Answer. Well, our urgent challenge is to turn around the business. Hitachi Construction Machinery's business is seeing a very difficult and tough business environment at this moment. And they're pursuing management reform for their business. So turnaround and recovery of business performance through management reform, that is their urgent challenge they have to address. And together with Seto-san as CEO, I would like to continue focusing on turning the business around. Question. Lastly, about Lumada. You said that Lumada business is quite brisk and successful. What is the number of use cases and what is the ratio of overseas sales as a percentage of the total? Answer. As of end of third quarter, there are roughly 750 use cases, and overseas sales ratio in terms of the core business about 10%. And for others, 10%, so about 10% overall, as usual. Well, for Lumada's business, overseas sales ratio is still limited and small. So going forward, now that we have changed the structure, HCC, Hitachi, Vantara are going to be consolidated into one single entity, which will run this business. So with this, Hitachi Vantara's CEO, Tokunaga, will push for service and platform. He will be the leader of that business as well. And that is how we would like to strengthen this business. Question. Overall, in the second quarter, you talked quite a lot about structural reform. So I think you are laying the foundation for that quite quickly. I'm quite impressed by what you've done so far. But when it comes to the Lumada business, what directly grows the business? Well, you talked about JR automation, and Vantara, you also talked about increasing front people, M&A, so increasing channels of sales so that could have a direct impact on Lumada business positively. So what progress are you making on that front? Answer. In IT or IoT, Lumada-related business areas, the internal structures are being strengthened. At the same time, through M&As, we are supplementing delivery resources. That's what we have on our mind. And so at the right timing, I believe that we will be able to announce that and disclose that to you. Thank you.
Any other questions? So center, second from the front, please. Question. I have two questions. First is regarding the macroeconomic outlook, coronavirus impact, and in construction machinery after the Chinese New Year, the sales is impacted, I hear. So how do you see the economy in China? Answer. This is difficult to foresee, especially with Hitachi construction machinery. In the third quarter, it was unexpectedly low in China and Asia. And in other businesses, China material business, mainly material business, are facing difficulty. And with the impact of coronavirus, it's difficult to quantify the impact on our financial results. The expansion of the infection or the impact on the supply chain are concerned. So we are watching closely. But in the short term, fiscal 2019 operating income will be secured. So we will accumulate the short delivery time and service business delivery and capturing. So we will focus on these points and also control our costs. And continue them and enhance them. Now, beyond that, the macroeconomy cannot expect to recover dramatically. So this time, as we announced, the personnel reshufflement CTRO function is now being reinforced to enhance our profit structure and cost structure. So we are furthering these measures. Question. So on the extension of that, how do you expect the impact of Brexit? Answer. I don't think Brexit will have a big impact on us in procurement in the UK. Procurement ratio is 70%. And on a worldwide basis, the railway demand is strong. As of the end of December, a backlog is exceeding 3 trillion yen on a global basis. So in Japan and abroad, this is very strong. So we have 3 trillion yen backlog. So we don't anticipate direct impact from Brexit. However, as I said earlier, China economy and the macroeconomy are difficult. So based on that assumption, we need to plan for next year. Thank you very much. Question. My second question is about the forecast of the financial results. This is rather detailed, but Hitachi Construction Machinery as of third quarter has not revised its forecast. The adjusted operating income in Hitachi Construction Machinery in second quarter was high, and it seems like you've lowered it. So if you could elaborate, what is the structure? Hitachi Construction Machinery. Answer. Hitachi Construction Machinery, $110 yen to a dollar. That is on the consolidated basis. Hitachi Construction Machinery is 100 yen to a dollar. So we start from 100 yen to the dollar. So the positive foreign exchange factor was enjoyed. But there was a bigger volume decline in China and India. So our assumption from 110 yen, it was a decline. And the assumption based on 100 yen was stay. No change. So the volume is down, and that is reflected in our operating income. So we changed last time from 100 to 105 yen. Question. So between the two, the volume remains unchanged? Answer. Right. The difference in the initial plan is the assumption in the foreign exchange. In the April forecast, it was 110 yen. Hitachi Construction Machinery was 100 yen. Now, it is 105 yen. Question, another detailed question. In Smart Life, 6 billion down in the adjusted operating income and the structural reform in the automotive components. Could you elaborate on that point? Answer. Automotive parts. Compared to last year, the cost structure is improving. Vis-a-vis plan, we had to revise downward because of China and volume decline. And the cost improvement under the current environment, we have not been able to catch up or offset, and that's why we made this downward revision. If you could add some points, page 34, Smart Life segment breakdown is shown. Automotive systems business, third quarter cumulative and full year is improvement year on year. This is thanks to the structural reform and the portfolio optimization since we've done last year, and we're seeing the fruit of that. Question. Adjusted operating income is down 16 billion, but the net income is even, you said. So when operating income goes down, net income usually goes down accordingly, but you remained this unchanged. Why is this? Is this tax? Answer. Yes, we reviewed the tax rate. South Africa loss and the sales of the Hitachi chemical, these large one-off events occurred. So including that, tax rate was calculated and reflected that in the third quarter year-to-date number. Thank you.
他にご質問ございませんでしょうか。
Any other questions? I see a hand there. Question regarding Brexit and pneumonia. Once again, I would like to ask questions. First, regarding Brexit, Hitachi has a railway business in the UK, as was mentioned. It is an exporting hub. If you could provide us with further details, what is going to be the impact from Brexit? What are you assuming? If you could elaborate on that once again. Answer. As I said earlier, we do not foresee a direct impact from Brexit on our business. Supply chain in terms of procurement is in the UK. 70% of what we need is procured within the UK. And overall backlog is quite robust in various parts of the world for our railway business. So the railway business itself, will it be impacted negatively by Brexit? We do not believe so. Question. If tariffs are imposed, I'm sure there will be impact. And what request do you have of the UK government? Answer. Tariff impact, how much will it be? That's difficult to answer. Because of that factor, we are increasing the procurement rate within the region, and that is why we're also increasing procurement within the UK. Understood. Question regarding pneumonia. The US is implementing an overall ban to travel to China. What will be the impact from that? You talked about supply chain and personnel money, goods. How will this impact the flow of these? Answer. As I said earlier, how much impact will there be on our business performance? It's very difficult to predict and forecast. But as you rightly mentioned, impact on the supply chain, we will have to closely monitor what the impact is going to be. However, in each region, within each region, we are establishing a service solution business. That is our policy. It's to be regional. So within each region, centering around Lumada, we are to establish and grow our business. That's our strategy. So within each of the regions, we would like to firmly establish our business. That is our intention. Did that answer the question?
お願いします。
So front row center, please. Question. I have two questions. First, You mentioned the macroeconomic aspect. So based on that, with the current forecast, it will be down revenue and operating income. And it's a bit too early, but how do you forecast the next fiscal year? Answer. Next year, the macroeconomic situation will unfortunately be difficult. So at this point in time, what next year will be compared to this year, will it recover a little or not? It's difficult to say, difficult to render a judgment. But we think the difficult situation will continue. On that basis, we will improve the cost structure. We will accelerate the cost structure improvement. And as I said earlier, service solution business, Lumada business will expand. So in the areas we can expand our business, in these key focus areas, we will expand. The numbers are now discussed. The strategy and environment are taken into account, and analyzing the current environment, and the BUs are now trying to come up with the revenue and the operating income budget. So we will build up the numbers. Question. One more question. Mr. Nishiyama, you will become the chairman and CEO of Hitachi Metals. So the current president is the proper person. Now, why is Nishiyama-san, a person from Hitachi Limited, is appointed? Answer. I joined Hitachi Limited and then went to Hitachi Cables and then Hitachi Metals CFO. And at one point, after the merger, the Hitachi Cable head. So based on that experience, President Sato is now progressing with the management reform. And in order to accelerate that, in order to achieve the quick profit improvement, we want to further this reorganization. Thank you.
質問ございますでしょうか。
Any other questions? I see a hand in the back. Question. Earlier, regarding impact from coronavirus, there was an answer regarding the supply chain. Within each of the regions, you will be establishing your business, you said. As far as China is concerned, does that mean that there has been no direct impact locally? Answer, of course there will be impact. And that is because our factories and plants are closed for an extended period of time, longer than the usual Lunar New Year holidays. Now, after the holidays, will the plants be resumed right away, immediately? We're not even sure of that. In the plants in China, extension of the Lunar New Year holidays is being considered and decided on, depending on the localities. And so we have to closely monitor the Chinese government policy to decide on what to do. Question, you said that you're doing this within the region, but am I correct to understand that there will be no impact outside of China? Answer, it's hard to answer. We don't really know at this moment. I would like to know that.
こちら前から
Any other questions? Third from the front, please. Question. Same pneumonia, coronavirus. Japanese government, the warning level for the trip to China is now raised. So the business trip to China, is it refrained or suspended? And repatriation of the expats, maybe not the person but the family. How are you taking care of the people? Answer. So let me share with you the facts. First, Wuhan City. Our number of employees in Wuhan City is 700. Elevator, escalator, repair and installation people, and automotive parts factories. So they're mostly Chinese nationals. Japanese in Wuhan, there are 2 Japanese stationed in Wuhan City. And with the government charter flight, in the morning of 29th, they came back to Japan and they have not been affected. It's confirmed. And the Japanese in China, entire China, is around 500. Now, how Hitachi is dealing with this? In Hubei, they have to stay at home until the restriction is lifted. And the travel to Hubei is now being canceled. And the business trips, unless they're urgent and necessary, is now refrained. Now, from now on, depending on the instructions from the government, if there is an order for extension, then we will follow the orders. And in the Japanese employees outside of Wuhan and families, the company bears the cost for the families to come back to Japan if they want. That's all.
出ますでしょうか。
Any other questions? Question. I have a question regarding the Lumada business. 111% from the previous year. It grew. Is a direct comparison possible? I wonder, because there are M&As and so forth. Answer, this is organic. This does not reflect M&A. In terms of IT, financial, fintech, application of AI, for public sector business and industrial business and mobility, predictive maintenance, applications. Lumada is being applied to these areas, and these are the areas that are growing. Question. Well, you said that one of the challenges is the low overseas sales ratio. Why is it not growing in overseas markets? What's your assessment? Answer. Of course, we are implementing initiatives for Lumada overseas, and we are engaging in POC projects, but these are still small. And in order to multiply this by n times, we will have to increase resources for delivery. And that is why in January, Hitachi Vantara and Hitachi Consulting were merged with each other. And solution-related personnel there will be utilized better. On top of that, delivery resources and software development will be strengthened so that Lumada can be deployed more quickly overseas. So software and delivery resources must be secured, and we will consider M&A for that. Question. I'm sure the next market to target is going to be North America. There are differences in between Japanese and North American market, finance, delivery. In terms of those, there must be differences there. So what's your strategy for that? Answer. What we expect to see growth in is North America and Asia. These are the markets where we expect to see growth. So far, in terms of Lumada sales, it's mainly from Japan, but these are the new markets where we would like to see growth in our Lumada business.
お願いします。
So second from the front, gentlemen, please. Question. I have a question on Lumada. What you think about Lumada? Now, IT sector is now supporting the profit centering on Lumada. This year, I think the growth investment will increase. So the profit level, will you hunker down once? Do you have such thinking? Answer, we will not hunker down this year. We said record high profit. Compared to fiscal 2018, fiscal 19 in IT sector was growth investment was 20 billion, increase of 20 billion yen. So absorbing that, we can still want to achieve profit increase. And we will continue our investment going forward. And the expense will be about the same, or slight increase, perhaps. But the level will be the same. Fiscal 2020 budget, we need to align our investment with our strategy.
よろしいでしょうか。
Did that answer your question? If there are no further questions, we would like to bring this meeting to a close. Thank you for your attendance. Thank you.